computer. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another version of Girls Talk 9.0, where we candidly and sometimes hilariously talk about the topic du jour. My name is Whaley Hallow. With me is Baldy and Sunchild. And today we're going to talk about the 2020 British film Host. It's directed by Bob Savage. And in this film, a group of friends get together and do a video seance and to reach their loved ones, but inadvertently invite a malicious host who wreaks havoc pretty much on their lives. And so if you have not seen the movie, I recommend that you stop here, go watch the movie because we will talk about the middle, the beginning, and the end, and we don't want to spoil it for you, but we do want to know your thoughts about the movie, so come back and join us. All right. So without further ado, let's talk about the 2020 film Host. And Baldy, why don't you go first?
I can tell by those looks. I loved it. And I know that that's probably not a sentiment shared, but what I loved about it was, well, number one, I liked that it was only like 60 minutes. I think it's good to pack something into 60 minutes because if you don't have a lot of scares, don't drag it out. I like that it was a Zoom call, kind of what we're doing right now. So it felt, and when I watched the movie, I watched it from my PC. So I was sitting here and I feel like that made it scarier because of course I was doing this every 5 seconds. It had the same level of stupidity that's in all horror movies. So yeah, they were doing dumb things all the time. But I like that there were a lot of jump scares. And I jumped out of my chair like at least 5 times. And I like that. And I like that it was just kind of weird and unpredictable and just a little strange. And so, what else? I'm gonna leave it there and then I'll let you guys comment and then I might jump back in. I don't know if you guys stayed for the little ending. Okay.
Yeah, we need to talk about that though.
Yes, we need to talk about that because
yeah,
that raised the level of stupidity to new heights.
I had to watch it a couple of times because I felt like the first time I don't know. I felt like I wasn't focused the first time. I did like the jump scares. I did have at least 3, maybe 4. So I love the jump scares. I think I had to watch it a second time because I had to take myself out of it. Sometimes I'm like, I would never do a seance. I'm not doing a seance. I know people who see mediums, I get curious about like why and stuff, but I am not trying to talk to anybody I feel like we need to leave them there. So I had to watch it a second time more like objectively and not like as myself, but as somebody who's going to be like, reviewing the movie. I've never done that before. Like I watched the other movie that we reviewed, the one that I love so much, twice, just because I love it so much that I could see it, The Descent. But this one I had to watch twice because I had to remove myself from this. I'm like sitting here like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. So once I did that, I got to appreciate more the movie. And I did get the jump scares. And I did get, I felt like the first, what is, just kidding. I'm like, that would totally happen. That was so believable. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I would never be in that situation, but if I were, I could see I would be the one saying, oh my God, something moved over there. Yeah. And then probably be the one that, goes first. So I did not hate it. I didn't love it. I loved that I got some jump scares out of it because that is like everything I watch a horror movie for. I want to be afraid. I had the lights out. I had the whole like ambiance thing going. I started on the PC and then I was like, I gotta watch it on TV. I just can't sit here and I don't know. Felt like it was just too. I liked the idea of watching it on the PC, but ultimately I opted to watch it on the TV, which no one was home and the lights were out. It was very scary. So I would say it's definitely worth watching. If you like being scared, it's worth watching.
Okay. I actually liked it too. And you know me, I like simplicity. I mean, they just had people on a call and it kind of let your imagination run wild. Things were happening in the back. You wondered about, who's next, what's going to happen to this person. And it's interesting because everything that happened to each of them was different. Like it wasn't the same trauma for everyone. It was all different. I thought the acting was really done well, particularly the maybe she was the last one, but the one that was under the covers. I mean, she was so believable to me. And I just thought it was good. They did some things we all wouldn't do, at least I wouldn't do. I like the fact that they had, where they had the girl whose screensaver was her walking back and forth
Oh
in the
yeah,
back.
that was
So they kind
smart.
of that was really smart. They led you to believe that she was kind of still there. And then you start to wonder, wait, is that her? And then you start seeing all these other things. You're like, wait a minute. So yeah,
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good job.
So when I was
Goldie?
watching it, my first scare came and I was imagining when I saw the door behind Haley, I think her name was. She was the one who really wanted to do the seance. I
Yeah,
was like, oh yeah, something's gonna happen with that door, right? That's obvious. But when it didn't, and then she started going down the hallway and was opening up the doors,
yeah.
that last door where she opened it and like she heard a loud sound, I literally jumped 4 feet. It just came out of the blue because I was expecting the first door, nothing, second door, nothing, third door caught me off guard. The other part that freaked me out was when maybe I might be jumping ahead of myself here because I don't remember exactly the chronological order, but when the girl's boyfriend fell from the ceiling.
Oh,
Yeah, that
I
one.
kept wondering
Yeah,
where he was. I was like, why is he not? I mean, come on, we know he's there. Why is he
right.
not saying something, doing something? And now
Why
we know.
is she not saying something and doing something to him? I'm like, if I'm going through this seance and my boyfriend's in the house, oh, you going through it with me. Get over here, sit down. We're getting put together. Because I couldn't, all I was thinking was, why are you like, where's the boyfriend? Go call
That's
him,
what
scream his name.
yeah, yeah. Or even
And
the
then
girl with her dad, whose dad was in the house. Remember, she went up into the attic. I would have said, Dad, go look up in the attic for me. Remember the girl? It's like,
she
I'm not going
was
up there. You go up there. And he never showed up. So I don't know what ever ended up happening with him, but I never saw the dad after that.
did we ever
Remember?
actually see the dad? No, we
Yeah,
just
remember she talked to him. She was like, This is my dad. Remember? At the very, very beginning.
maybe she's the one
Yeah.
who had the screensaver that kept looping, right?
I think so. I think she was the
Yeah,
one with the screensaver.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She must have been.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah.
what the dad looked like, but I do remember her commenting
Yeah.
about it.
Remember he was older and then she went into her room because she had this makeup on. He had some kind of makeup on his face. I don't know what they're doing. Halloween makeup. I don't know what it was supposed to be. But they had like this really bad makeup on their face. And
I
they was
thought it
like,
was a filter, but yeah, I don't know
Oh,
what it
was
was.
it a filter? Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. Can figure
I
out what
don't
it
know
was.
what it was. I don't know what it was. Um, the other thing that kind of threw me for a loop was when, and I agree with Sunchild in that the first time I watched it, I was just confused as to who was what, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm used to ignoring the first 10 minutes of a movie and knowing that I can catch up in like 30 seconds. Well, 10 minutes into it, I was like, I don't know whose house this is. Like I was starting to get confused as to whose house was what.
Right.
But I don't even know again whose house it was, but the woman who walked into the kitchen and there was that face just sitting there, that like
Oh,
cartoon.
yeah. No, thank you.
What? No, thank you. No, thank
Yeah.
you.
No, at all. Thinking,
I
yeah.
mean, if you see that, aren't you gonna throw something at it? Why would you
I
walk
But
up and
she
mean,
reach it?
did. Don't you
I'm like,
remember?
the house is
Did she
yours
No.
throw
now.
something at it?
I thought she went out with her hand to touch it. I'm not touching anything that's floating,
At
a
all.
bug included. I'm not touching a spider that's floating from the ceiling. I'm throwing something. So if a face is
100%.
floating,
And I'm
not
not
to
turning
grab it.
around and going back to my computer to talk to people. I'm heading straight for the front door.
Yep.
Door out. I'm
Yep.
leaving. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
The house is yours now. I'm
Yeah.
everything.
And-
Yeah.
What was, okay, so the first time we see the face.
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know what it was. It's a mask or something, right?
I thought it was, I don't know. We saw it twice. We saw whatever the ghost was. We saw his face twice. No, not the mask that was floating in the, that like when the two jump scares where we saw faces.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Again, I was 4 feet above me. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, that was.
Why are we not talking about this?
How about when she threw the cloth? And that's when I would have been beating that thing. Like I can see it now, beating and running, boy.
That is the motto. You
That's
must
it.
move. You
Yeah.
hit and you move. And
Fight
how
or
about
flight.
when the footsteps
Fight or
were on
flight.
the powder?
Right?
Yeah, it was definitely terrifying because I truly believe when you summon, people who went beyond, even if it's someone, you loved and that loved you greatly, I think that they would probably be angry that you're calling them back here. I mean, if heaven is what people say it is, or
It's
even
like
What
I
did
just
you
left
call me
those
back
bills
here
behind.
for?
for what exactly? Don't worry, I'm going to see you at this date and time because I know when you're coming. You're going to see me again.
Don't
Yeah,
worry,
I
I'll
just-
see you very soon.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I just don't feel like the sweetest person in the world would be happy about being summoned back here. And
But who were they summoning? Like, okay, I know Jack was the person that the one girl teased and she felt bad about that or something like that. Again, I ignored the first 10 minutes of the movie to my detriment.
Someone's grandmother.
yeah, someone's
Just
grandmother.
different people.
Yeah.
But what I didn't
Oh, I thought it was
understand,
just Haley that actually had a true person that she was trying to.
no, they all had some sentiment, remember? They all had something.
Yeah, which is
But what
why
I didn't
they-
understand is the guy with his girlfriend who went off to smoke the weed, whatever they were doing, right? He was out of the picture. I believe he was out of the picture before the medium came on, right?
He was,
So
I
I was
think.
surprised that when he came back, he was thrown into the mix and something happened to him because he really wasn't involved when they broke he wasn't part of the circle. So he really didn't break the circle,
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. True.
right?
Guilty by association. Guilty by
Yeah.
association.
And he was taking it, yeah. They were all, to me, they were, typical, because to me, if you're the type of person that would be even willing to do this, then, there's a loose screw somewhere. But they ignored all the warning signs. Like they waited until it got real. Like when the one girl was like banging her face. Oh my God. And then she's like, then the other girl leaves her house to go help. No.
No. My help is 911.
That's my help. That's the best I can do. Yeah,
That's
and
it.
I mean, what do you even say? We dared to summon spirits, and here they come. I don't. What do you even say? I'm just like, somebody's assaulting my friend. Go help her. I mean, I don't know.
I'd be
I don't
calling
know.
everybody. And then
Yeah.
it's the old, why do you people? And I hate to say you people, because you people means anybody in a horror movie. But why do you
Of
people who are in these horror movies never turn on lights?
That's what I don't get. Because they intentionally turn the lights off. You notice that? Turn the lights off. No, hell no.
Yeah.
We're
I
trying
mean,
to
I
do some
think that's
scary
supposed-
shit. I'm not turning the lights off.
No, I think like if you ever like that Ouija movie or whatever, I think it's supposed to be in order for them to come and have to be dark. But I'm
That's
like,
why we don't do it, right? Because we can't.
Therefore,
Therefore,
all the lights
nobody
are
would
on.
ever be coming because I would have all the lights on. They'd be like,
Hello,
they don't come
it would
like
look
that.
like
Okay,
Christmas.
that's fine.
Like it would. La Salette
Yeah,
is what it would look like.
La Salette. Oh my God, the shrine for real. It would
Exactly.
be like the electric bill would be ridiculous the next month because they'd be like, what? Yeah.
Percent.
Through the roof. Through the roof.
Lit.
Through the roof.
Yeah. I honestly believe that we're meant to leave, everyone who's passed to that. And, eventually we're all going to join them or maybe see them in transition, depending on where we're going and where they went. I don't know. I just
Oh, but
think that
then
there's a
how
space
about the
of
one guy the guy who came back after and got into the mix somehow? He ran outside and then it looked like it took his friend, didn't it?
His
Like,
girlfriend.
what the heck? They weren't
She
even
was in the way.
involved.
She
yeah,
was in the way.
in the way. I think if you bring
Even
them,
involved. I'd be
you're
so pissed.
unfortunately bringing people who weren't even
Yeah.
involved. That's the other
That's
scary
what
part. Like
that's what I take it as. Is
I
like
love
when you
you all, but if you
summon, you
tell
don't
me
know
you're
who you're
doing
getting.
that,
You
you
don't.
don't,
That's the
you
problem.
don't,
You don't
you
know.
don't know. You don't know who's
Don't know.
hearing, you don't know who's coming, you don't know who's coming with someone. Maybe there's something on that other side that they're like, bring somebody back and you get some like goodness. I mean, I have no idea and I don't want to know. I figure
I
when my
think it's the
time
ones
comes
who
up.
are, yeah, I think it's the ones who are sitting waiting for the call. Like you said, if you've moved on and you're like happy in heaven and enjoying your life, you're not even answering that text.
Like,
The people who have had their phone like this since the day, somebody's calling. No, those are the people you don't want. They're too
Oh, you want
excited.
me?
they're
Oh,
too
you want to
excited.
see me? You
They're
want
too
to see me?
excited.
Yeah, you gonna see me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing happened. Well, we don't know what happened to the medium, but it's just odd that she just was able to get out of the way, call in and say, "Oh, we lost power," or whatever had happened in her area. I just wanted the guys to let you know you lost power. We have to make sure that something about the
Circle was
circle. You have to close the circle,
closed or
but nothing
open
happened
or
to her.
whatever. Yeah.
I'd be so
Here,
pissed. Honestly, if I had made it out of that, I would hunt her down. I would literally hunt her down because
here,
she dragged us
no,
into that crap and left. Yeah,
here is
I will
a
say, remember
I would
when they
hunt her down.
called her and she was on the phone, so she wasn't on the Zoom call, but she was on the
Right,
phone.
right.
She was still just, hey, this is great.
That's what I'm
So what we
saying.
need to do, yeah.
You got to
open up.
close the loop. No, heifer, get on the phone. You help us close this loop. I don't know what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
exactly.
How
No.
do you close the loop? You tie a
Yeah,
knot? I don't know.
and that's the thing.
This is
No,
your expertise.
right. And once it's open, like how don't you need her to close? I don't know. No.
Exactly.
But
You
here's a
started
true
this
story.
crap.
I work with someone who I absolutely love, and his mother is a medium. And once he told me that, I hate even seeing him. I hate saying that
Bye.
because he constantly, we lose people, especially at work. Like they just drop like flies. People who retired, people who are still here. But on a personal level, they know I lost my mom a couple of years ago. Every time he sees me, he's like, my mom gave me a message from so and so. My mom, and I'm like, yes, dude, man, sorry. And his
Yeah,
wife is like,
I don't need
yeah,
it.
you gotta meet her. She's so, she'll just shake your hand and she'll tell you something. And I'm like, if I see this lady, I'm running the other way. And
Unless she
he's
knows where
such
that $10 is that I lost, we don't have anything to talk about.
anything
And
ever.
I'm taking you to court. I'm suing you for trauma.
Yeah, unless you can tell me the Powerball
Do you
numbers
see
for
that
like
coming?
next
Right? Did you
night. I
see that
don't
one
want
coming?
I just can't.
Did you see that subpoena?
Do you see that? Yeah. No, and it's sad because I really love him, but when he starts talking about his mother, like hairs on my neck stand up because they it could be true, it's not true, I don't know, but he is like, my mom has been like this since I was a little boy. He's in his 40s now, and he's like, people pay big money to see her, and sometimes she goes to people, she doesn't want anything, she just wants to give you a message, and I'm like, don't tell your mother about me, don't mention my name to her. I'm like, I'm terrified of those things. I can't do it. I mean, I would love to know the future sometimes, but I'm so afraid of opening that loop. And how do you close it? And if somebody can't close it, I just feel like you can't get rid of it. I feel like you can't get rid of it. You ask for it, you've got it for the rest of your life. You're
All or
like
nothing, it seems like.
all or
Yeah.
nothing. So I live without knowing. Figure if it's meant for me to know, I'll know.
And then it's like, okay, if there's all these wonderful success stories or happy endings, why are we hearing about it? Why are we always hearing about the horrors?
Right?
It's sort of like there's a
Right?
pattern here, people. And
Yeah, there seems to be any good of it. I mean, I would love to see a movie where it's a beautiful experience and you get some answers and you feel complete and content, whole, the things that people want to seek. you want to apologize to somebody you bullied, you want to like, whatever. No, nope. If I see him when I get there, I never bullied anybody. That's not my personality. But if I owe anybody apologies, I'll say it when I get there. Hopefully, they can see my heart and they know, because I just can't. I'm terrified. So I would say for jump scares, great movie to watch for jump scares.
Yes.
Definitely.
For 50 minutes. And when I got that first jump scare, I looked at the clock and it was like 22 minutes into it. Now it was only a 60-minute movie, but I liked that once it started, it just kept
kept going. Right.
Yeah.
Escalating.
And so there was no breaks. So you got
No,
20 minutes.
They build up and then it was like, it was, you didn't have to wait for another one. It definitely like scored major points with that. The fact that it had a build up, it didn't have like a lull. And I'm with you. Like horror movies should be like maximum hour and 30 minutes. Like that's it for me. The 2 hour and 2 hour and more, it's just too much. Like it just can't do it. I want, give me like 15 minutes of story, 20 minutes of story, scare me to death, wrap it up. Whether it's there's a point to it, which some movies have more like dynamics to it. I didn't sense any like underlying like friendship dynamic, like this one is happy.
Right.
That one
it was just about the topic.
It was just about the topic, which was fine.
Which I liked.
Which I like.
Yep.
Simplicity can be very good. I do like when things are like woven into it, but they manage to do it still while scaring you, as opposed to like they have to have this whole like relationship and you have to see the backstory. Like sometimes just a look or a statement is enough to tell you, okay, there's a back. These people are not really friends, or these people have something more. That's enough for me. I don't need like the whole picture. You can just drop me a little piece and I'll use my imagination to say, this person probably isn't going to save you if you're getting ready to get killed, because they really don't like you.
Really.
So I want to talk about the ending. Like I'm not quite sure I understood it, because everybody at the ending was already in the beginning of the movie. So
well, the ending was what happened before the actual seance. It was the practice. It was their dress rehearsal, or whatever you want to call it.
But half those people weren't even on the seance.
Because did I misunderstand this? I thought what they were showing us was these them preparing for the seance and the run through and the taping of the seance, right?
Without the medium, because she wasn't there. It was
She was there.
A guy.
Oh, was she there?
The medium was there.
Oh, I thought it was a guy with the candles.
There was a guy. There were 3 guys. Only, one of which you said was in the movie. One who I didn't know who the other 2 were, but I assume they were producers. This is okay. Now I feel like we got to go back and look at it, because I took that to me that it was all fake. These are all actors, everything else. This was their dress rehearsal for the seance that they were going to do. And but during their dress rehearsal, things actually were happening, right? Remember, there was some crazy, scary things happening. Am I completely?
I think that's I didn't get that, but I like it. I think I'm gonna have to watch it again. I'm like,
I feel like
but maybe that makes it make sense. I think I'm gonna have
because those last few minutes, I mean, I saw it and I was like, okay, well, those are the same people that we just saw die.
Plus like 4 more
plus
people.
Extra people, right?
And I thought, yeah, go ahead.
No, but then to your point, I thought this was their dress rehearsal, but then things, I don't know, it just didn't seem like, I couldn't figure out, I couldn't tie the 2 together. So I thought maybe, I don't know. I didn't know what to think. I really didn't know what to think of the ending.
I didn't recognize. So the girl who was banging her head on her desk, the one who's had she was, her hair was different. And so I didn't even recognize who she was. So when they did that like cut scene that they put at the end, I'm staring at them and I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, that's that girl, that's that girl, that's that girl, but who is that girl? And like you said, and who are these guys? But as they were talking, it sounded like And maybe the medium might have been an actual true medium. And like maybe she might not have been an actor, but the rest of them were all seemed like they were all in cahoots to film this actual seance. But as they were preparing for it and talking to Celine or Ceylon was the medium's name.
Mm.
Yeah, everybody's like, nope, didn't care. I only knew because it popped
She didn't
up.
help. I don't remember her name. She was no
She did
help.
not help.
You need her name so you can hunt her down and kill her.
That's right.
Well, there's that. I mean, yeah, she was like, open the door, get in, and then she just bounced.
She
It was
jetted.
almost like she was like, if this is what you all want, I know how to do it.
It was just so lackadaisical, right? You know,
yeah,
what does that sound? Oh, that was just my pizza.
right?
Yeah, okay, and then she disappeared. I'm like, wait a minute, you're not leaving.
Oh,
I
I
don't
forgot
care.
I
Don't
ordered
order pizza during a seance. What's wrong with you?
Right?
That's what I was thinking. Who
wrong with
orders
you?
Domino's during a seance?
Yeah. Because
30
that
minutes
Domino's have to
left.
be
Maybe
free.
she thought the
'cause they were
devil,
late.
the spirits were coming before her pizza made it. I don't know, but there
She
was
just
something.
didn't care. She didn't care.
No,
But if she had walked away like that, I would have walked away because I would have been like, no,
Yeah.
because it took her a long time. A long time. Would she go date the guy and then come back? I said, I'm out.
Trick for people.
But
It took her a long time.
now that I think about it, something doesn't make sense though, to my theory. Who were, like I said, who were the other two guys?
I don't know. And they were the ones that were doing like most of the talking, like they were doing the seance. Remember he said, okay, now close your eyes or do some count or whatever they were saying. I was like,
I don't know. I felt
okay,
something.
but
Do
who
we
are
dare?
you?
Do we dare look up an explanation or no?
Yeah,
I
look
feel like
at
we
it.
have
Yeah, I
to.
mean,
See if you can.
yeah, then we can talk about it.
I would love that. Yeah, I would love that because we all
Because
have
I
to.
definitely don't understand what it was about.
No, I would love
Because
that.
I
Ending
thought maybe they're opening a door for another one, but then it couldn't because those people died. So it doesn't, I don't know. I
But
don't
did they?
know.
But
Well, they
did
look pretty dead to me. This
They
the
definitely
girl who
looked dead.
smashed her face. If she's not
Yeah.
dead, she's certainly
Ooh.
somewhere getting a lot of plastic surgery. A lot.
Okay, so this is the director. Sorry. This is oh my gosh. I have ad block on, so I can't even open up half this stuff.
I might be able to see it. Let me see if I can
Let's
see
see
it.
if Roger Ebert lets me look. Okay. Right, he did nothing. Yeah, he didn't. I need the ending explained.
Is anyone, like if you just do ending explain, does anybody put their 2 cents in? Because I'm curious to see what other people thought about it.
Okay, I'm going to Reddit because I know those people always have a lot to say.
Actually, yeah, what is this? Collider has a host director breaks down the mythology you may have missed and the ending shot.
That's what I
Okay.
was trying to click on, but I couldn't. So if you can click on it, that'd be great. I have a ad block on, so it wouldn't let me do it.
So how good is the new Shadow Release host? As a big fan of screen life storytelling, I'll have high hopes that the format is loaded with potential, but there's no denying that there's an especially challenging format to pull off. Throw in the fact that Host was made during lockdown, and it's really no denying that director Rob Savage and his team really had their work cut out for them on this one, but you know what? They wound up knocking it out the park. Well, that's his opinion. Let's see. That being said, you can probably imagine how thrilled we were to have Savage on the latest episode of The Witching Hour. Haley and I couldn't wait to, I know that's something. Haley and I couldn't wait to dig into the details of the development and production process, but we also went heavy on the mythology, and one particular thing Savage brought up in that department could change how you view the entire movie. Given the fact that Teddy left the call before Gemma told that lie about Jack, would he have been safe if he never called back, or did joining the Zoom call in the first place already seal his fate?
See, I would say no, because he wasn't part of the circle. The circle hadn't even begun yet. He wasn't even there when the meeting was, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Or did the circle start during that dress rehearsal?
I don't know. Well, there are two schools
You
of
know what I
thought.
mean? Yeah.
I think the one is the co-writers think another thing. Basically, on the face of it, he would have been fine. He would have had a lovely night unless he came back because, you know, the transgression was Gemma making the story about Jack, that following something to come into this world and wreak havoc. But we also wanted this idea that Haley, being a character who has performed lots of seances in the past, might have already had something kind of lingering in her apartment, might have already had something attached to her. And she might have inadvertently brought it in, and just by the medium kind of conjuring the psychic connection between a lot of them, that might be the thing that allows it to kind of feed on their collective summoning and start it to manifest. I don't know if he's really explaining anything to me though. I'm waiting for the
What
explanation.
does that, how does that play, how does that take into account the people who weren't involved though?
Back to Gemma being the one to blame here. The whole idea is actually connected to a concept that really exists beyond the mythology of a movie. Savage further explains, it's like a demon that's summoned by a group thinking. So the idea is if everyone pictures the same image in their head, you can actually make something manifest just by this sharing imaging. So the idea is that Gemma, when they're in this hyper-connected state, she tells them the story of Jack, and she places this image of the hanged boy in their heads, and that this allows it to manifest. And we kind of played all the scares as though this demon is using the image of Jack almost to mock them, and to toy with them. So there's this hanging thing in our mind.
Okay. So was he
It
on the call at that point? The guy who left with his girlfriend?
was
Were they
not
on the
real.
call at that point?
It was the demon rubbing their noses in it towards the end of the last shot. You see it's like a half human, but it's sort of transforming into something more demonic. It's kind of like its skin is ripped away to reveal something more demonic, so that the idea is doing away with the Jack facade. And if the call hadn't cut off there, you might have seen a bit more of what this demon actually looked like.
Okay, explain
Yeah.
the ending.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
Because
see.
he's
Like
just
he's
explaining
doing a lot of
what
talking.
happened.
Yeah, right. I think the way we're gonna come at it is if we're gonna try and replicate that feeling in Host. That feeling came so much of a group creatively frustrated people in the middle of lockdown, trying to do something cool, letting lockdown fuel our creativity in the way that you just couldn't replicate. And you certainly couldn't replicate it if you're coming at it from a cynical aspect. Our approach is really to do something totally different that touches what's going on and the problems inherent to this point in time and how we're dealing with our current situation and why things have snowballed the way they have. It's a whole different kind of approach to the same point in time, and it's probably not going to be as immersive. It's probably not going to be as recognizable to everyone, but I think it's going to be different enough that certainly I haven't seen anything like it. And as a horror fan, I'd be excited. So he doesn't really say like what, I mean, the topping says explain the ending, and he's talking and he's not explaining the ending to me. Typical internet. So I don't know if I didn't get my answer from that. Supposedly Host
Okay.
explains the ending and he's lying. He's not explaining. He explained a couple of things.
Well, if you're listening to us and you know what the ending is, please let us know because we would like to know what your thoughts are.
Let us know what you think, because
Did the
that was
Cinemaholic come up in your oh wait a minute. Oh, this time it did pop up. Okay.
I don't know. I didn't
This is interesting. This is another one. The ending explained, and they said the biggest question is who summoned the ghost in the first place. We don't care about that. We want to know who those people were.
yeah, yeah, who are the people? Maybe that's what, do we need to ask that question?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be really like basic. The people that and
This is saying the same thing though, that Haley, because she had done multiple seances in the past,
That's a little creepy.
summoned a spirit, but Gemma's lie, as they said, tapped the collective conscious thoughts to the group and made it manifest itself in the form of Jack.
Which I get that, but was that guy on the call when she told that story?
I don't know. I don't remember.
And was the median on the call when she told that story? I don't think the median was, or was she? I don't even remember.
If she was on the call, she was just audio and not video. Okay, Teddy leaves the meeting much before the girls begin the seance. However, towards the end of the film, he too joins the Zoom session and encounters the same fate. As a viewer, you can't help wonder if Teddy would have survived if only he had stayed away from the meeting. Although it seems pretty apparent that he only becomes a victim of the ghost after he joins the meeting, the early scenes of the movie suggest that his fate was already sealed. In one of the opening scenes, Teddy shows a creepy music box to the girls and even blows off some smoke on it while playing its music.
But that was his brother's sentiment. That was for his brother.
In the closing moments, Teddy finds the same music box in his garage after being chased down by the spirit and then magically catches fire and dies. These two parallels suggest that the ghost was with him long before Gemma started making up stories. I don't understand.
Okay, so is it
I'm
multiple? Maybe they're saying it's multiple. I don't know. Maybe they all had something attached to them, and just going to this seance kind of brought it. Maybe they're not all really the same, because it doesn't make sense that.
That's kind of what
I don't know. I don't know spiritology. I don't know how spirits work, but I don't know if one spirit can impact you and me and her, and we're all in different places at the same time. It just doesn't.
I don't know. Maybe if their thought process is all the same and they're all focused on that, maybe they can. This little paragraph I found. Teddy leaves the meeting much before the girls begin the seance. However, towards the end of the film, he too joins the Zoom session and encounters, I hate when pop-ups happen, encounters the same fate as everyone else. As a viewer, you can't help but wonder if Teddy had survived if he had only stayed away from the meeting. We knew that. Although it seems pretty apparent that he only becomes a victim of the ghost after he rejoins the meeting, the early scenes of the movie suggest that his fate was already sealed. In one of the opening scenes, Teddy shows a creepy music box to the girls and he even blows some smoke on it while he's playing the music. In the closing moments, Teddy finds the same music box in the garage after being chased down by the spirit and then magically catches on fire and dies. These two parallels suggest that the ghost was with him long before Gemma made up these stories about him. So I guess there is some deepness that we didn't, or connections to everything. Like we know there's some connect. Oh, that they're showing me that face. I can't deal. Like they're showing me that floating face. Oh my God! I want to see it. I'm gonna close this out because I'm scared. I'm gonna close it. I don't even want it. We don't want any of it. So it still doesn't go on to explain the end. I would really like to know what the ending is. It did say something about the vision of them hanging, and then they end up being hanging in the end. I'm gonna
because that would then assume, because then based on what they're saying then would imply that his girlfriend also had something attached to her because she was impacted, and whoever else the other, you know what I mean? It just seems like, unless, like I said, unless they all, before they even got there, agnostic of Jenna's story, had something, including those who were not involved, and they just happened to bring it up and it impacted all of them. I don't really know. Again, I don't know how spirits work. I don't really want to.
right.
But
I mean,
can I share my screen so I can just share this?
Yeah.
With you guys. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
See if I click on it. Oh, do we want to watch him talk about it or no?
Oh God! Oh, that's so scary.
Obviously, there's going to be a ton of spoilers. Please go check the film out over on Shudder before you watch this. It's one of my favorite films of the year, so I highly recommend you check it out unspoiled. Right, let's get into the breakdown of Post.
All right, should we jump towards the end? Or
okay, so yeah.
I'll break it down Post's abrupt, terrifying conclusion. There's a lot to unpack within the final 15 or so minutes of the film, as it's a prolonged sequence where pretty much the entire cast comes to a grisly end. and a lot of the action can be seen seeded throughout the early stages of the movie. Host follows 6 friends as they are haunted and terrorized by a false spirit that has been invited through to our world inadvertently by Gemma, one of the friends on the call. The spirit takes on the guise of Jack, a person
That thing's creepy looking.
due to the fact that Gemma made him up.
That's what made me jump.
That's the thing. It's
As
scary.
part of her made-up story, Jack was a friend from school who sadly hung himself. And it's this pivotal light that sets in motion the hauntings that occur across the rest of the seance and Zoom call. When the psychic who's leading the seance discovers that the story isn't true and that Jack is in fact a fabrication, she
Yeah, so
reveals that
on the call when she told that story, doesn't look like.
open invitation for any spirit to come through and wear the mask of Jack.
Right, he wasn't part of the circle.
Jack?
And it's this demon spirit that causes the carnage we see unfold in the final
Really
moments.
bad looking.
Kills the group of friends off one by one. As I've said, there's a lot to unpack here. So let's start with the recurring motif of masks. For starters, it can't be a coincidence that one of the key ideas of a pandemic-set horror movie is a mask. They're a huge part of the conversation surrounding coronavirus around.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute, what part of that? What part was that?
Another way the horror genre can scare us just by reflecting on what's going on in our real world. Beyond the real world context of masks, we've already learned the key way they work within the world of Host, when the psychic leading the seance, Ceylon, explains that the false spirit was able to enter our world using the mask of Jack, Gemma's fictional friend. But the mask motif is played upon in various other forms throughout the movie. There's the obvious reference when we see Gemma wearing a mask as she goes to check in on Haley, but we also see the mask come into play through Zoom's integration of filters. We see Emma using these filters a whole lot early on in the movie. One key set piece later on sees the Zoom filter putting a mask on the unseen demon Jack, who is lurking in the middle of Emma's living room.
Yeah, you can go to the end. I just want to hear.
Right.
Teddy that his brother used to hide the box around the house to scare him. And this is exactly what happens to Teddy later.
See if I can go.
When he's being chased by the demon around, appearing behind the mask of the Zoom background. Finally, there's perhaps the most obvious foreshadowing, one we've probably all encountered using Zoom's base package before, the dreaded 10-minute end of meeting warning. And this lack of control over our situation naturally leads to anxiety. These inner fears are what Host preys upon as horror. As the virtual seance goes horribly wrong, each of the friends looks on in horror as the situation moves completely out of their control, much like we are in our own real world, where we adept at doing, holding a mirror up to our own world and down.
What the heck was
Still
that?
jumping. I'm still jumping from that.
Right. That's scary.
He released the video on his Twitter profile, and it's a perfectly placed little horror movie in its own right. There's a couple of shots and moments that he even directly copied the scenes in Host as well. And look a little closer, and you'll see the entire cast that ended up in the final movie. They were all there on that initial prank Zoom call. All the characters are named after their respective cast members.
Oh, see? Did you guys catch that?
No, what happened? I didn't hear.
Yeah, I can't really hear. Just tell us, what did they?
There's a couple of shots and moments that even directly copied the scenes in Host as well. And look a little closer, and you'll see the entire cast that ended up in the final movie. They were all there on that initial prank Zoom call.
Prank Zoom call.
Are named after their respective cast members as well, which could be a reference to the Blair Witch Project, which did the exact same thing. The title Host is also during the Zoom call, but particularly in the final few minutes, Haley uses her Polaroid camera to try and capture the demon ghost Jack. Camera obscura. Now, for a film set entirely on a Zoom call, there are a slew of references to the video chat.
Ooh, Lord. Yeah, that makes me jump.
So the prank Zoom call, I still don't fully understand why. Good job, whoever you are on GameSpot. Okay, oof.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, so what did he, I something that he
we
said. I mean,
couldn't really hear it.
I could hear some, and in his accent, it was a little soft. But you were
Um,
like, did you hear that? When you said that, I didn't hear. What was he saying?
what he said was, and I heard him and still don't understand what he was actually trying to say, but what he said was there was a prank Zoom call.
That's at the very
And
end.
yes, and the characters were playing themselves. So one of those, remember, so who are those extra men? One of them was Rob Savage, the director of the movie. One was, so those were, and all the actresses you can see were named in the
Right,
actual film, named after themselves. So
right,
that was a prank Zoom call.
right.
And I presume what we're supposed to believe, because he didn't answer this part, was that they did the prank Zoom call and then they went and proceeded to do the, the actual film, and then crazy stuff happened.
Okay, so it had nothing to do with anything.
Right, basically. But I liked it. I would give
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it,
did too.
I think I would give it like a 3.5.
Yeah, I think that's
Ditto,
pretty
I
fair.
would too.
Yeah, it was very effective for such a short movie.
Right,
Exactly.
yes, they would definitely get it in. It probably maybe deserves like a 4 for that. But like,
Yes.
I'm grading it on the whole, I would say 3.5.
And
Which is
also I
good.
will give it props for just again the fact that once it took off, there was you could not just relax. Like after those first scares, you knew
No.
something was going to happen every
Yeah.
10 minutes. And
Right.
it was like kept you
Yeah,
on your toes.
yeah,
Sure.
definitely, for
Sure.
sure.
And you
My kind of
didn't, and
movie
you
where
couldn't
go-
predict what was going to happen. Like
No.
sometimes you can predict it. You go, oh yeah, this guy's going to come out of the closet. But no, there was none of that. Like
No.
no one would have thought the guy would have fallen from the ceiling. You know what I mean? You just
No.
can't, no one would
No.
have thought that she would have smashed her face. You just couldn't predict those things.
No,
I
and
think
I had no idea like who was next. Yeah, I was like, who's
Yeah,
next? I don't know
yeah.
who's next.
And I think that's what made it so effective, was that you're sitting there watching it and you're assuming all the basic scares are going to happen, right? Like I said, the dark door in the back, but nothing happened with that door. She actually had to go out and, to it. You expect something's going to happen if you walk down and you walk into the living room, but you'd never expect a mask just floating.
Right. Floating.
Floating.
Exactly. Exactly.
And they were trying to distract us with some of the things. Oh, I see a light in your house, because that's what we always expect to see in the scary movies. Yes.
Right.
So the whole time I'm fixated on that little light. It had
Yeah.
nothing to do with the body flying up.
Nothing.
Exactly.
So every time it was like, look here, and
Like, oh,
bam.
let me put it on my
Exactly.
face. Like, yeah.
Exactly. And it was
Jack was the
simplistic. I
horror.
still believe it's very simplistic.
Yeah.
You know,
Very
they didn't go,
simplistic.
And
there was
scary.
no,
And
yeah, they did a good job. They did a good job. I
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like
I hope he does another movie. I think, did you read in that? I think it said it was his first horror or something like that.
Oh, really?
really?
Savage.
It was a British horror film, so, but I hope he does another one.
Yes.
Me too. Me
I like
too.
that he got it in that time
Yeah.
frame. There was no like lull.
Yeah.
Even though there were some questions, it doesn't take away from the movie. We definitely had some questions, but I liked it. Do you have the wheel ready, the list for the next review?
Well, I think we had said that instead of maybe doing the wheel, we could just pick a movie that just came out, like a new movie.
Oh, okay.
We could do The Believer, The Exorcist, The Believer.
The Exorcist
That-
Believer.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm
Okay.
definitely down.
Right.
That'll be our next one then.
And
Did
I think
anybody
it's on-
see Talk to Me?
Yes, yes.
I saw Talk to Me. Okay.
Mm.
So
You're not gonna say
hopefully-
it. We're
but
gonna
The
have to
Exorcist-
do-
Yeah, we can do that at some point. But The Exorcist Believer, I think, is available for like rent
It's talked to
on
I think that-
Amazon and stuff like
I
that.
think one of them might be on what's on Peacock or Paramount or something. I'm trying to think which one of them gets the movies as soon as they come out.
Oh, guys. So did you see the preview for the Boogeyman?
Oh no, there's a new one.
It's based on the Stephen King book. Rob Savage directed that.
Really?
That just came
Oh,
out this
interesting.
October. Yes,
Oh,
very
interesting.
great.
Okay.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
check that out.
All right.
I don't
So,
think
so yeah, that might be something worth looking into. So I almost want to watch the Boogeyman.
You mean it's in theaters or you mean it's out? Because I've.
Oh, let me look.
Oh, sorry.
Let me look.
My nephew and I saw the Boogeyman and it was very good and we liked it.
Oh, so you already saw it. You've seen everything.
I didn't know if there was a newer one. Yeah, I see them all.
No, this one came out in October. Yeah. Wait a minute.
the-
How is it already on? No, it was. It came out in September 18th. September 18th.
Yes, saw it. Yes, saw it. And it's really good. It's really good. I won't.
Okay,
get
so we're gonna do the Boogeyman.
I know.
or we're
Now
gonna
we
do
have
The
too many
Exorcist?
choices.
anyone
Let's
you guys
choose between
pick.
those two.
I'll watch anyone again because you know me. I'm like usually the day they come out or the day after. I'm like front row. I have my movie pass, my movie package, the whole thing. I'm such a.
All right, so
like,
which one do we want to do?
We're choosing
Yup.
between the Boogeyman and the Exorcist.
Yeah,
you all pick.
The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. It is perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
Hey,
All right.
all right. Well, thank you guys for joining us on Girls Talk 9.0. We can't wait to join us on the next edition when we review the Exorcist. What is it? Exorcist the Believer.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.